Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the CARP Annual General Meeting, and welcome to everyone who's looking in on Zoom this morning. My name is Anthony Quinn, and I'm the Chief Community and Benefits Officer of the Canadian Association of Retired Persons. Moses Neimer, the President and Chairman of the Board, has asked me to assume the role of Chair and conduct the business of the meeting today. We presently have over 1,000 members joining us online and close to 200 members here with us in person at the ZoomerPlex in Toronto. The audited financial statements and the minutes from last year's annual general meeting were shared with members by email and remain available on our website homepage, carp.ca, for those who wish to review them at home. For those of you watching online, you will have the opportunity to vote on the motions presented today using the poll function in the toolbar of this Zoom video conference screen. For those of you here in the room, I will ask you to vote by raising your hand. At the time of the motion, you are welcome to vote in favor, opposed, or you may abstain. We will allow a few moments for members to cast their votes online, and I will announce if the motion carries or fails. My colleague Janine Appleton-Bott is standing by and able to answer questions from our online audience in the chat function on Zoom. For those of you who have general questions of the Board of Directors or a question comes to mind during the meeting, we will have some time to answer those questions following this business portion of the meeting. And now I call this meeting to order. We have 182 CARP members in good standing present in the room. Online, there are 987 members participating and another 2,221 CARP members represented by proxy. As such, we have a quorum of the members of the corporation present, and I declare the meeting properly constituted for the transaction of business. All members of the CARP current Board of Directors are present in attendance, including the Chairman of the Board, Moses Neimer. We have Bill Van Gorder, the Vice Chair of the Board representing Atlantic Canada. Ramona Captain is a Director at Large representing Western Canada, and David Kravitz is the Treasurer of the Board, and Maura Cohen, the Secretary of the Board. Thank you, Board members, for joining us. We are also joined virtually by many of our CARP chapter volunteers from across Canada who are watching via Zoom. Thank you to all of you for your support this past year. Now on to the motions of the meeting. I will take a motion to approve the minutes of the annual general meeting that took place on February 10th, 2022. Yes, please.
I move that the minutes of the annual general meeting dated February 10th, 2022 be accepted, and that the reading of said minutes at this AGM be dispensed with.
Thank you, Judith. Do I have a seconder for that motion?
I, Donna LaRoche, second that motion.
Thank you, Donna. There's a motion before the membership to approve the minutes of the annual general meeting held on February 11th, 2022, and that the reading of said minutes be dispensed with. Any discussion? Hearing none, I will call the vote. For those of you at home, please vote now on motion number 1 using the poll function on Zoom and in the room. All in favor, please raise your hand. Any opposed? Any abstentions? That motion carries. Thank you very much. I now recognize Terence Chan, Chief Financial Officer of Zoomer Media Limited. For those members who are not aware, Zoomer Media is contracted by CARP to provide the management of our association's financials. And Mr. Chan, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I present the financial statements ending on August 31st, 2022, followed by the auditor's report. The auditors, RSSM LLP, Chartered Professional Accountants, have issued an unqualified opinion on the financial statements for the fiscal year ended August 31st, 2022. This report was posted publicly to the carp.ca website on August 26, 2022.
Thank you, Terence. Does any member have a question or require clarification specifically related to the auditor's report or financial statements? No? Hearing none, we'll move on to the appointment of the auditors. I will take a motion to appoint the auditors for this current fiscal year.
Dorothy Osmond, and I move to appoint RSSM LLP Chartered Professional Accountants as auditors of the corporation to hold office until the close of the next annual general meeting of members, or until a successor is appointed, at such remuneration as may be fixed by the directors, and the directors are hereby authorized to fix such remuneration. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dorothy. Do we have a seconder for that motion?
Dean Barons, I second that motion.
Thank you, Dean. There is a motion before the membership. Any discussion? Hearing none, I will call the vote. At home, please vote now on motion number 2 using the poll function on Zoom. Here in the room, by show of hands, please. All in favor? Thank you. Any opposed? Any abstentions? I'm looking to the Zoom poll to see what we got. And that motion is approved. Thank you very much. The next item of business is the election of directors. There are 3 positions required to be filled according to our bylaws. I will now take a motion to appoint the directors of the corporation.
Directors of the corporation hold office for a term of 2 years from the date of appointment or until a successor is elected or appointed, whichever occurs first.
Thank you very much. Do we have a seconder for that motion? Thank you, Nanette. There are 3 names before the membership for the appointment of directors. I will now open the floor up for discussion. If you wish to discuss any nomination, please state which proposed appointment you are speaking to and state your comment. Hearing none, on the motion to appoint Moses Neimer, Maura Cohen, and Ramona Captain to the Board of Directors for a 2-year term from the date of appointment or until a successor is elected or appointed, please vote now at home on motion number 3 using the poll function on Zoom. And here in the room, please acknowledge by hand, all in favor? Any opposed? Abstentions? And at home, thank you for voting, and that motion carries. Moses Neimer, Maura Cohen, and Ramona Captain are appointed to the Board of Directors for a term of 2 years. Next, we have to ratify the acts of the directors and officers. I will now take a motion to approve the acts of all the directors and officers of the corporation for this past year, please.
I, Wilf Navarrete, I move that the membership approve all the actions, including bylaws, resolutions, acts, and proceedings for the directors and officers of the corporation made or taken since February 10, 2021, as the same are set forth and referred to in the minutes of the corporation or in the financial statements.
Are you doing,
The members of the corporation on this day are
I'm doing it right now, Darren.
sanctioned, ratified, and confirmed.
Thank you very much. Do I have a seconder for that motion?
I'm John Healy. I second that.
Thank you very much, John. There is a motion before the membership. Any discussion? Hearing none, I will call the vote. Please vote now, excuse me, please vote now on motion number 4, ratification of the actions of the directors. Here in the room, by show of hands, all in favor? Any opposed? Abstentions? Online, and that motion carries. Thank you very much. This concludes the scheduled business of the annual general meeting. I will now open the floor to any new business or other business any member of the corporation may have. Now, there will be time for Q&A following the business portion, but if there's something specific for new business, hearing none, I now close the floor to new business. This concludes our annual general meeting. I will now take a motion to conclude the annual general meeting. We have a motion to adjourn the meeting. Do I have a seconder? Thank you very much, Teresa. At home, please vote now on motion number 5 using the poll function. And all in the room in favor of closing the meeting, all in favor, please raise your hand. Any opposed? Abstentions? Checking the online voting. And the meeting is adjourned. The motion carries. The AGM is concluded. Thank you all very much for your attendance and participation. So that was the boring part. Hopefully this will be a little more interesting and entertaining for you. Now that the business is out of the way, next on our agenda is a report from your CARP executive team, followed by that time to answer your questions. But first, I do want to acknowledge the support of CARP Board President Moses Neimer, Zoomer Media, the production team who are helping us to bring this meeting to our audience here in the room and across all of Canada. As CEO of Zoomer Media, Moses has made available to CARP many millions of dollars in print, radio, television, and digital media opportunities at no cost since the two organizations were connected in 2009. Now, this is truly a unique and unprecedented support. No other advocacy group, no not-for-profit or charitable cause can come close to the support that CARP receives from Zoomer Media Limited. So thank you to Moses and all of our colleagues at Zoomer Media for your support of CARP today and over the last fiscal year. And before I give up the mic, in my role as the Chief Community and Benefits Officer, I offer you my report. For those in our audience who may not be familiar with the volunteer component of CARP, allow me to give you a very short overview of how thousands of our members engage with our association beyond carrying the CARP card in their wallets or on their smartphones maybe now, or reading Zoomer magazine and our email newsletters. CARP recognizes the wealth of skills and experience represented by each of our members. The CARP chapter offers a platform for those who want to support our advocacy work and grow the voice of CARP in the corridors of power. The second and no less important role of our chapters is to help grow our membership. When a CARP volunteer can proudly say that they support CARP's work and that they often benefit from the information and discounts and recommendations offered by CARP, they become a living example of the benefits of membership, and they invite their peers to join CARP and to support our mission. The chapters are indeed engaged in very important work, but it's not always as serious as it sounds. The chapters are social units too. Our volunteers and the general members who come to meetings and events organized by boards of directors also have the chance to socialize as they listen to an educational speaker or get advice from an expert or plan a campaign to make policy changes in their community. There's often something to eat, like today, and something to drink, and they come away from events with a multiple of benefits and continued engagement. Now, the pandemic has certainly posed a number of challenges for our chapters over the last few years, but they have proved resilient and overcame many of those barriers imposed. For fiscal 2021-22, we saw a return to activity in most chapters, with the new normal of a combination of online meetings, smaller in-person gatherings, and hybrid events. Chapter participation could be virtual or in person now, just like today's event. The virtual component was particularly important and perhaps one of the few positives of the pandemic. There was a marked increase in the digital capacity of older adults who proved they wanted to and they could engage digitally, not only with their peers at CARP, but with family and friends, with doctors, and many other service providers while remaining safely at home. This change to more hybrid meetings bodes well with members going forward, as traditional barriers have allowed greater participation. Digital meeting capabilities like Zoom have enabled our chapters to do more and do it more often. chapter has provided educational events for members, both online and in person, on key advocacy-related topics. And they offered a hub for social connection engagement, even when virtual. There are a large number of ongoing local advocacy grassroots campaigns going on in chapters today, and I can't share all of them with you, but just to highlight a few. The Nova Scotia CARP chapter is working locally for overdue investments in home care, getting the attention from their provincial government and gaining traction. BC chapters are highlighting to their government the desperate shortage of family doctors in their province. Our Ottawa chapter is waging a campaign to reform delivery models of long-term care, which is a major plank for our CARP 5 campaign during the last provincial election. And the Ontario chapters were actively engaged in that provincial election, hosting local debates and using the key issues document prepared by CARP to question their candidates. The Winnipeg, Saskatchewan, and Alberta chapters continue to fight for the hiring of a provincial seniors advocate to report to the legislature on the status and successes of service to seniors, a battle that has already been won in BC. So that's my community update, and I do have a little bit of news for you on the benefits side of the equation. CARP responds to our members' needs and interests by seeking partnerships with best-in-class service providers who offer a members-only discount and added value to our members. This money you didn't know you had enables members to save much more, often in a single transaction, than the $20 they typically paid for their membership dues. Over the past year, we've added a number of new partners to our roster of benefits, and I can tell you that I've used a number of these myself. Ancestry.ca, for example, offers 40% off of their subscriptions. A new addition is the Opimian Wine Club, which is offering a free one-year membership to their wine club to all CARP members, which is a $109 value. Lifeline in-home emergency medical alert devices offer CARP members 20% off, and that's another service that my family uses. Learning with Experts offer 25% off any on-demand learning, online lifelong learning course. And Sparrow Home Sharing offers you the opportunity to rent rooms in your house, and they offer a discount off of their fees. New entertainment and attraction discounts have been including the Museum of Human Rights and the Royal Aviation Museum in Winnipeg, the Winnipeg Art Gallery, and the Little Canada exhibit here in Toronto. This is just a small sampling of CARP's partners. Many have supported us for years and all deliver great value. A full list can be found on our website, and I encourage you all to get to know them and take advantage of them. Thus ends my report, and I am glad to invite my colleague David Kravitz, the Chief Membership Officer at CARP, to address you now. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Anthony, and hello, everybody. It's a delight to be here today and to report on a very busy year on the marketing communications front. I want to report, first of all, on how we're doing, how many members are coming in. We measure it in the world of marketing on basis of transactions. How many signups did we get in the year, either of a new member or of a renewal? And this is the picture for the last 4 years, and you'll see that the growth in new members has been up and down a little bit. And in the last year, as a result, partly of the 2020 going into COVID in 2021, there was a drop in the new member signups, but we have steadily improved in the renewals, and that is continuing this year. 6 months in, we're getting many more renewals. So we're probably going to wind up the year, the current year we're in, at par, maybe slightly ahead, even maybe dramatically ahead, with some new developments that you'll be hearing about. We are working very hard to make CARP more relevant, more present, more important to the existing members, while trying to bring in as many new members as we can. And that we are reliant on some big groups that are producing a lot of new members, and if they go up or down, we go up or down with them. You'll hear a little bit more about some of what we're doing on the new member front. But overall, the most encouraging news is that steady increase in the renewals each year, and we're continuing strong this year. Lots to report on of what our activities are. I'm going to go through this very quickly. We continue to promote money you didn't know you had as a value to our members, and working with our sales team to expose those discounts with 52 weeks of radio and TV, with a consistent program online, and with pages in Zoomer magazine. So we're always exposing not just the theory that CARP can save you money, but what are the specifics, what are the specific discounts that you're getting. We're becoming more aggressive in using advocacy with a series of radio commercials with Bill Van Gorder to make immediate to the audience what CARP is fighting for. So it isn't, again, just a vague, don't worry, CARP is fighting for you. It's specifically, what are the issues? What are the statistics? How can you get involved? And we're translating that into very tactical programs when appropriate. So for example, during COVID, when we had the disgraceful performance of Ontario nursing homes and the high death rates in those homes, we launched what turned out to be a successful petition to fire the Ministry of Long-Term Care. It's the first time in CARP's history, and I've been hanging around CARP for almost 20 years now, where we've actually gone out with a specific political ask, and we had over 10,000 people join the petition. Eventually, she was replaced. We also worked very hard, and it's very instructive in the most recent Ontario election. And for our online audience, this is coming soon to a province near you, where we produced an election guide, 5 things CARP was fighting for. We ran it through our chapters. We encouraged people on the doorstep to mention those 5 points to the candidates and at all candidate meetings. We are going to continue that. And we have a pretty aggressive menu of upcoming provincial elections. We'll be working with the chapters to develop region-specific messaging for those campaigns. We have a more consistent promo calendar than we've ever had before, with flash sales, half-price flash sales at all the logical holidays. So we have Labor Day, we have Halloween, we have Christmas, we have Thanksgiving, March break. We just finished Valentine's Day. We go out, and for a very limited period of time, we run digital ads promoting a membership at half price. And those are bringing in new members at a very low acquisition cost. We have revitalized our group membership program, working with the chapters to encourage not-for-profits to offer their members offer their donors, members, subscribers, their mailing list, if you will, a trial membership in CARP for free for 1 year, and then we take over the renewal. And we have about 18 deals in play right now, with another 5 or 6 about to be signed, and we're working closely with our chapters to bring those in. I want to talk about online signups for a minute. A lot of our advertising, such as radio and TV, doesn't lend itself to tracking as accurately as a click on the internet. Obviously, you heard the commercial, you saw the commercial on Vision TV, you heard it on the radio. Did you join right away? Did you join that minute? Did you think about it? Did it take 4 or 5 repeats till you finally joined? We measure that a little bit by the online signups. You heard about CARP. Gee, I keep hearing these commercials. I keep seeing these commercials, carp.ca. Eventually you go to carp.ca and you join. And we track how many people joined generically through the join button on CARP. And that went up in the past year to almost 12,000 from just over 9,000 the previous year, which tells me that our awareness campaign is succeeding. We are, as part of that growth in solidity and renewals, we're getting much more attractive offer to sponsors through our webinars. We have a very aggressive webinar program that Bill can comment on. I'd be happy to answer questions on. And we are getting sponsorship revenue for webinars, and our audience shows a huge appetite, whether it's aging in place, whether it's sleep, whether it's vaccinations, topics of interest to our members that we can put out there. And finally, I want to take a minute to both report on, I'm going to be about 12 seconds over, I'm sorry, to report on and encourage you to participate in an exciting project called CARP Voice. This is a focus group that's done over Zoom. We sent out an email to all our members inviting them to register to be in the CARP Voice panel. And when you register, all you're doing is agreeing to hear to be told about what those future sessions are. What's the topic? What's the date? You're not obligated to take part. You may be busy that day. You may not like that topic. But we've had well over 1,000 people register to be informed of this. We have conducted CARP Voice research groups for ourselves. We just finished one on member experience and membership cards and how you're using them and what you'd like to see. We've also attracted sponsorship interest in that. We've had one on cancer. We've had one on how have you navigated the healthcare system. Typically, we run 3 groups, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Typically, they're at 1 o'clock so that people in Vancouver can take part. And there's something quite inspiring about seeing 20 or 30 people on a call, on a topic, giving us their unvarnished opinions. And our sponsors are very interested because you can show statistics all you like, but when you can see the people's faces and hear their opinions in their own words, it's very powerful. If you're not yet a member of CARP Voice, I urge you to sign up. As I say, all you're agreeing is to be kept informed of what the topics are, and we want your opinions, and we welcome and value your insights. So a busy agenda in the membership marketing area, and it'll get even busier when you hear some of the other announcements coming up. So thank you, and I look forward to answering any questions later. Thank you.
Thank you, David. I'll now invite Mr. Bill Van Gorder to the podium. Bill is the COO of CARP. He's also our Chief Policy Officer and a member of your Board of Directors. Bill, thank you.
Well, thank you, Anthony, very much, and thank you, David, for your presentation. Anthony has already thanked our Zoomer Media partners for their tremendous help in spreading the word about CARP right across the country. But I want to, and it's always difficult when you mention individual people, but I really want to express my thanks for the great support from our CARP team, headed, of course, by Moses Dimer, David Kravitz, Anthony Quinn, Janine Appleton-Bott, who is by her computer communicating with all of you who are watching in, and now our newest team member, Ramona Captain, our British Columbia Advocacy and Membership Officer. And Ramona, it's good to have you with us today in your end of your first month in your new role. So that's great. Thank you to all of you for your work all year. Our advocacy has been very active over the past year. We focused on 4 areas with a fifth that's very important to all of us. The first, of course, was the access to the best medications and medicines, both for prevention and treatment, that they be available equally all across the country. Your postal code should not determine the level of health care that you get. We're also very concerned, as you are, with concerns about financial security for older Canadians, freedom from ageism, an issue that is growing in concern from all of us, and of course, improved home and community care and long-term care facilities across the country. And the ones that's especially dear to my heart, and I know to Moses too, is our advocacy among ourselves, which is to be aware of our own need to look after ourselves, to stay fit, to be fit, and be our own best health advocates. And we did all this during the year through a number of amplification opportunities that Zoomer Media gives us at the chapter events, on our website, on social media. We have a very active presence and formal presence with presentations to federal and provincial governments, media releases, letters of the editor, op-eds, interviews, partnership. I can't begin to list all the areas that we work in or the accomplishments, and Anthony has mentioned some of them, but let me just briefly talk about a couple of them that I think are really important. We work to increase the financial security of older Canadians by gaining an increased guaranteed income supplement for the lowest income seniors, so there is now a $1,000 annual increase for many of those seniors. CARP worked also to decrease the cost of medication and to gain better protection against the flu. The NACI recommended high-dose flu vaccine is now available at no charge to Canadians over 65 almost everywhere across the country, and only BC, Nova Scotia, and Newfoundland are lagging at the moment, and believe me, we're working hard to change that. We're advocating very strongly in those provinces. And seniors receive free shingles vaccines in many of the provinces, another area that we're working on in the other provinces. We continue to advocate for improvements in long-term institutional care. We had wins such as the introduction in Nova Scotia of a separate ministry of long-term care with a former CARP Nova Scotia board member as the minister of that department. And as Anthony mentioned, the Ottawa chapter has taken a major role in terms of promoting an advocacy campaign around emotional care being offered in our long-term care residences. CARP had a major focus also on home care that's resulted in a $3 million commitment from the federal government and other money, and now we have to advocate with the local provinces to do their due diligence and access that money in a way that really does go to improve facilities. And of course, we had a major win in our fight to improve the access to innovative medicines and treatments. And as a result, the federal government put a hold on the Patent Medicines Prices Review Board work, which called the PMPRB, which would have made access to innovative medicines even more difficult. And we have that strong emphasis and self-advocacy around fitness and activities that encourage CARP members to look after their own health. So, with the help of the experts from Zoomer Media, we have those regularly scheduled programs. David mentioned stories on Zoomer Radio, a weekly appearance with Fight Back on Zoomer Radio and on Zoomer Week in Review, the Zoomer on Vision Television, and Zoomer Magazine. And of course, we respond to frequent inquiries from external media who see CARP now as the go-to source for authoritative information and opinion. So when our members, and over 95% of you tell us you do vote, when you speak out, it's for meaningful change and elected representatives listen. CARP members tell us that the number one fear, though, these days is outliving their money. And that's an area we're really going to concentrate on this year is financial security, in addition, of course, to the meltdown of healthcare. Can CARP properly protect the quality of life for older Canadians? Well, we think CARP is up to the task. We've already had many wins, if you've heard tonight, and besides, we represent Canada's largest and still fastest growing demographic. Our membership, we expect, will grow to over 350,000 this year, gives us enormous clout. The acute challenges we face make CARP engagement more important than ever before. With your help in promoting advocacy and growing our membership, with your help by talking to your local elected representatives, because that's who they listen to, the people who vote for them, CARP will keep our strong voice and keep our policymakers on their toes. Thank you.
That's okay. Thank you very much, Bill. It is now my pleasure to welcome to our stage the president of CARP, the chairman of the board of directors, the CEO of Zoomer Media, and our host. Please welcome Mr. Moses Neimer.
So hello, everyone. I must say it's exhilarating to see you all here in person after, what's it been? 1 year, 2 years, 3 years of living in a virtual world. So before I make our big announcement and introduce our special guest, I thought it would be useful if I helped you by setting the scene. 15 years ago, I decided to turn my professional attention to the demographics that nobody wanted. The elder demographics that everybody feared, the third act in life that everybody wanted to avoid. And I thought that the best way to get started was to give these demographics an uplifting name, a name that had energy and gusto and a future. And so I coined the name Zoomer. Boomers with zip is what I tell people it is. But you know, when it came to me, it was Znaimer and Boomer. But that would be immodest, so I say it's Boomers with zip. And then I set out to create a movement to support the name and, well, an army, if you will, in order to fight for the new vision of aging that the name represented. And to give that movement weight and visibility, I had two ideas. My first thought was to somehow connect with, and eventually I succeeded in combining with CARP, which was at that time already a well-established advocacy, but somewhat stalled and in search of new leadership. At the moment, the leadership was contemplating and actually dealing with a decline in membership. And so they reached out to me, and I thought, this is a very good idea. There's a strong membership base. There's a future in this thing. And I thought that we could possibly even reach 1 million members. My second good idea was, in order to keep our issues before the public and bang away at them in a way that finally actually leads to change, we could not rely on the occasional interest of the established newspapers and broadcasters, but needed an affiliation with a media organization that day by day, 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, could keep our issues before the public. And so we hooked up with Zoomer Media Limited, which operates on all platforms, the old ones and the new ones: radio, television, print, online, mobile, every which way that is necessary to keep our issues in highest profile. And I think that idea has also worked out pretty well. In addition to advocacy and the kind of camaraderie and fun you can have by participating in a local chapter, the biggest reason that most members had for finding membership in CARP useful was the benefits, useful goods and services offered at preferential rates to our members. And the most important of those benefits at that time was insurance, home and auto insurance offered by an insurer who would be different from the other insurance of the day, who were already beginning to withdraw their coverage instead of extending the coverage because of people's age. So when I arrived at CARP to take up the torch from Lillian and Murray Morgenthau, there was already a contract in place, turned out to be a long contract, which tied CARP insurance coverage to a company called Lombard, and that company was in turn subsumed by another company called Northbridge. In other words, Northbridge was a legacy provider held over from a previous administration, whose original okay offer had been overtaken in time and outclassed by competitors. Moreover, the thing about Northbridge is that they offered insurance and only insurance, nothing more. And even that, it must be admitted today, was sometimes only grudgingly provided as the ages of the various potential clients began to climb towards 80. So when the end of that 15-year contract came into view, we decided that that relationship, that deal, had run its course, had served its purpose, and did not deserve to be renewed. So, free at last, free at last. Here we are finally able to announce a new relationship with a new provider and not just any old anonymous interchangeable insurance company, but a partner of our choice, an age-agnostic, not-for-profit organization famous for its service and widely considered among the most trusted brands in Canada. So our new CARP insurance partner is, drum roll, ta-da, CAA. Yes, that CAA. And even though they offer unmatched insurance products and pricing that will save you really big money, CAA won't judge you by your age and will, in certain circumstances, only charge you for the mileage you use while you're driving. Moreover, CARP's existing benefits dovetail beautifully with theirs, and with luck, if I'm really nice to them, I hope they'll introduce us and the many additional benefits of CARP membership to their millions of members. So now, to tell you a little bit more about the history of CAA and its different caring culture, here's Jay Wu, President and CEO of CAA Group, by video, because he can't be with us today because uncannily he is officiating at an annual general meeting of his own at exactly this moment. But after his short statement, there'll be a live presentation in the person of Matthew Turak, Group President of Insurance at CAA, and by Omri Tintpulver, the Chief Operating Officer and Chief Technical Officer, Digital Officer at Zoomer Media Limited. So they will also take your questions because I'm sure you will have lots of them. So one final word. Because our expiring insurance contract remains in force until March 31st, we can't start taking your business until April in Ontario and only a month later in the rest of the country. But the opportunity to announce this transformative deal at this once in a year proceeding was just too good to pass up. So we prevailed on all those involved, and they let us proclaim the good news here today, while still asking those of you who are here and those of you who are looking in to keep your powder dry for a few more weeks, at which time we'll be ready and we'll be thrilled to take up your new business or to show you how you can switch and save, because that's what I'm going to do. So here's Jay Wu.
Thank you very much, Moses. It's an honor to be at your CARP AGM virtually this year. I have to say that ever since we met you last year in 2022, it has been a privilege to work with you directly. Thank you very much, Moses. It's an honor to be at your CARP AGM virtually this year. I have to say that ever since we met you last year in 2022, it has been a privilege to work with you directly and your team to create a unique and compelling program for the distinguished members of CARP. My name is Jay Wu, and I am the President and CEO of CAA Group. Our roots go back to 1903, well over 120 years ago, when we began as an emergency roadside company rescuing people when they became stranded on the road. In 1974, we created a home and auto insurance company because we believed that insurance could be done better. Since that time, we have grown to become the most trusted brand by Canadians and one of the largest insurance companies in Canada. We know that the CARP members are a very special group of people. In fact, we have admired CARP from a distance for over 20 years now. So when Moses approached us to discuss a partnership, we were beyond thrilled. In May of this year, we'll be launching a new exclusive program that is custom tailored to the members of CARP. This new program includes a multitude of CA services with benefits that are only available to CARP. One of the most significant factors that makes CA different is that we are not a public company, so we don't have shareholders to satisfy every quarter. This means that we are driven to do everything to support our members and customers instead of the bottom line. During the past 15 years I've been with CEA, every day has been rewarding because of the positive difference that our caring associates make. I'm thrilled that you'll meet Matthew Turek today. Matthew is the president of the CEA Insurance Company, and he has been instrumental in shaping the caring culture of CEA. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to say a few words. I could go on forever talking about CEA, but at the end, I know that these are just words, and I hope that we can win you over to CEA through the CARP program by our actions. Thank you.
Thank you, Moses and CARP members. I'm honored to be here today representing CAA and address, as Moses said, Jay was unfortunately or fortunately at our AGM or our board meetings. We are really humbled and honored to be selected as a partner from CARP and Zoomer and really be able to provide what we believe we do the best and what we do with passion, which is protect people, whether they're on the side of the road, whether you're at home, or whether you're traveling. We're here to actually provide that protection. We do so, again, with that non-for-profit thrust to it. Even though the insurance companies have a for-profit financial institution background, we are driven really by the heart of our parent, which is that non-for-profit aspect. We've created, as Moses talked about, we have the only pay-as-you-go auto insurance program in Canada. It's called CAA MyPace. I would encourage you to check it out, CAA MyPace. But really, it provides amazing protection while affordable costs and price reduction for consumers, and especially it fits a lot of the CARP members that I've talked to and know of. On average, it helps people save between 40 to 60% on their auto insurance rates, which is significant savings when it comes to auto insurance. So thank you again. I'm only going to talk for a little bit because Omri's going to come up, but we formed an amazing partnership. We're going to have a great, successful joint partner and value add for CARP member for many years to come now. This is just the start of many fruitful things that Moses was talking about, many great rewards and savings that we're going to bring together for CARP members. And I'm really honored that we can provide the protection and product and value to all of the CARP members here. So thank you very much, Moses.
Thank you, Matthew. I'm really excited to be working with you and CAA and the team in general. So I'm going to share a very personal story. Last October, before we signed the deal with CAA, it was at a time where interest rates were starting to climb and inflation was out of control and our personal cash flow situation was getting pinched. My wife and I sat down and said, we need to do something. What are we going to do? Well, we just received our renewal notice from our insurance company. And again, the annual price was going up. So we did something that we haven't done in 20 plus years, which is we decided to do something about it. And so we, partly for personal reasons and partly for due diligence reasons, we decided to call CAA. So I called them up and told them our situation, which was we were paying $4,200 a year for 2 cars. We were paying $2,000 a year for our house. And they asked a few more questions, and within no time at all, they came back with an offer. And I almost fell off my chair. It was such a great offer. It went from, so they offered $2,000 instead of $4,200 for car insurance. They offered $1,000 instead of $2,000 for house insurance. And at that point, I got pissed off. I got pissed off with myself for not having done something sooner. That would have been $32,000 over 10 years, $64,000 over 20 years. And so that feeling passed, and then I felt joy. And there's more to it. You know, and this is a little bit embarrassing. I got my first speeding ticket back in March. And I thought, oh man, there's no way any insurance provider is going to give me a break. In fact, it's going to be worse. I'm going to be stuck with my current provider. And I don't know if you've seen the CAA marketing campaign over the last few months, but it's called Driven by Good, I think. And it's the commercial is a car that rear ends another car, and that person is forgiven. And that's exactly what I experienced. That one infraction was not I was not penalized for that. It was seen as an outlier, hopefully it is. And so that was with the car insurance. With the house insurance, not only was it a 50% reduction, but the coverage that I was getting now was better. And they insisted that the amount of coverage we had for basement flooding, backflow, something like that, needed to be higher. And so, you know, I know what you're thinking. Maybe it's because we were in negotiations and my name was already marked in some kind of VIP fashion. I wondered that as well. So I asked a neighbor, unconnected, unrelated to me, didn't tell her what happened to me, to call CAA. Just call, give it a shot, see what happens. So she called and immediately called me back, and she was pissed off. It was the exact same situation, and so it gave me a huge amount of comfort. You know, she's a Zoomer and she switched. I'm a Zoomer and I switched. I think what Jay and Moses are trying to do and what CAA and CARP together are trying to do is to get you to switch. And, you know, you owe it to yourself to get pissed off and then to be happy. Thank you. So Matthew and I are going to take any questions that anyone has now.
Wait for me though, wait for me to come there. It's for you guys. We have a question? Can I get you to stand up for me?
What about people in BCAA? That's sort of a monopolistic situation in British Columbia?
Yeah, so BC on the auto insurance is government insurance through ICBC, but we are absolutely part of this, the CARP partnership. We'll have a product through BCAA, and BCAA is called BCA, but working with our partners in BCA to have the property insurance, the optional auto insurance, which is called BCA optional auto insurance, and travel insurance. So BCA travel insurance, as well as life, health, and dental programs as well. So we're gonna, the same suite, even though there is some provincial differences, and that's not just BC, there's provincial differences in Manitoba and Saskatchewan. There are some product differences in Atlantic Canada, but we're gonna work to roll out the appropriate products in each province through the partnership.
Thank you. And if I may, another
Hold
question.
on.
Thank you. So, if I'm a current insurance policyholder with the McLennan Group, what now?
Oh, you want me to field that one? Okay. Well, it will be as simple as what I did. You make a phone call to the number that we will post, and if you go to the website after this meeting, there will be some information there as well. Have a conversation with CAA, and they will guide you through the steps. It was very simple to switch.
Hi. I must say that we have depended on CAA for many years as a fantastic travel insurance company, especially since they got their own underwriters a number of years ago. Any problems we had were never an issue. And I went on my pace a year and a half ago. And one of the things that people seem to be afraid of, it's going to track where you're going, right? And some of them think they're going to track you when you're speeding. Well, I don't know, but I can even remember, if I forget where I've been, I go on there on my pace map and see where I've been. But as an engineer, we got preferred rates. And I don't mind saying it. I've been with them for 30, 40 years, is TD Milosh-Monix. And I got a preferred rate as an engineer. And guess what? I decided I was upset and went to CAA, and I got over 50% reduction. I recommend it to everybody. So my question is, as an existing CAA MyPace insured individual, will CARP, if I mention the word CARP, will I get some advantage? Added advantage?
So we don't discount the auto insurance product. It is a regulated product in Ontario.
Okay.
And where the MyPace is. There's other partnership benefits that we'll show through some of the other products. But I love the story, and exactly what you experienced is why we designed the MyPace product. It is instant savings when you're not using your vehicle very much. And it also allows you to be in control of your insurance costs because you only pay for what you drive. And so, and you're right, there is a device that has diagnostic from your vehicle and ability to locate your vehicle. We do not follow you or where you're going or what your speed is. The data helps us really provide a program like this, but it's your data. It's for your benefit.
One last thing. I've asked a couple of times, and I'm looking for motorcycle insurance that you guys have. And I hear you're working on it?
We are, yes.
All right, thank you.
And we do have a subsidiary company that we can help through a broker. Yeah.
Already? You can do it already? Okay.
We'll talk.
No, I'm not a cynic. It's too good to be true. So how do you make that happen?
You know, we've been in the insurance business since 1974. So this is not something that just came overnight or, you know, we created because of CARP. At CA, we are a company that is really devoted to creating value for members, for people who have the same beliefs and understand, you know, what we stand for. We've been working at this for many, many years. And one of the things that has been different for us as an insurance company, and Moses talked about the non-for-profit aspect, we are owned by a non-for-profit, which is our CA Club group. And as we drive to create value for drivers across Canada, in Ontario, whichever province we're talking about, BC, you know, we look to say, how do we create not only consistent value, but treat drivers as they deserve to be treated? That means the good drivers, the drivers who are driving less, who are not causing accidents, deserve to pay better rates. The drivers who are causing the accidents deserve to pay higher rates. So we really have differentiated our pricing that way. We've created a product with MyPace. We're still the only company in Canada, in all of Canada, to have a pay-as-you-go auto insurance program. And we did so that we could find a way to give deserving members, deserving insureds, value right back. And so that continues to exist today, and that's what we stand for.
So this means that travel insurance will be a better deal, specifically medical travel insurance. One small point, sort of an aside, is some car rental companies in Europe, for example, will not allow people to drive if they are 80 years of age or older. Is that, for one example, going to change for the better?
So I can't do anything about the rules for car rental companies because we don't change the rules, especially overseas for car, like that's their internal rule related to that. From a travel insurance perspective, I mean, we have one of the not only the best, but the leading travel insurance companies in all of Canada. We took over as fellow CARP members, sorry, your name? Hank described. We took over the underwriting of that travel insurance in about 2013. In 2013, we decided to self-underwrite and be the company ourselves because we wanted to treat members, we wanted to treat insureds the way that we didn't see other insurance companies out there, the big ones out there, treating members. We wanted to pay claims. We wanted to say, you know what? People, if they have a claim and they need us, we're going to be there for them. I know it's weird to say we want to pay claims. As long as people aren't taking advantage of us, we want to pay your claim. So yes, we have to fight the good fight against people who try and take advantage of certain companies. But the people who are being honest and deserve to be treated, we're going to be there for you. Our motto at CA Travel Insurance, we call it Orion Travel Insurance. the company behind the scenes there. Our model is you take on the world, we'll take care of the rest. And so we want to be there for you when you travel, and that's a big part of the offering.
Hello, I'm Dorothy. Thank you for taking my question. This is with regard, I used to be a GM owner and they had something called OnStar. Now I'm with another car company and they have nothing like that. Is part of your Drive My Way, is that going to pick up anywhere, with the OnStar? Is that going to be a future product or?
No, it's not at all the same as OnStar. OnStar was, in your mirror and helped you talk back and forth reception. This is just a small device that goes into the technical OBD2 port in your car. We can help you through that. It's like having a little USB key that goes into your computer, but all it does is help us track your mileage. There is vehicle diagnostic and some other information that is for you to have, but we use it to track mileage so that we know when to bill you the next 1,000. So the MyPace program bills 1,000 kilometers, and then when you use the 1,000 kilometers, we bill the next 1,000 kilometers. And when you use that 1,000 kilometers, we bill the next 1,000. It's as simple as that. And so that's why you only pay for what you use, and we don't bill you more than you've used.
Thank you.
Thank you. Before we go, can we just put up the new logo that we've been working on?
It's unauthorized, not yet approved by all parties, but I think it looks great, don't you? One other little addendum, Hank, to your question, what's in it for a CARP member? I think I've got this right, Matthew, but if you call for a quote, then you can get one of 3 different incentives. You can either get a $50 card that you can use to buy gas or coffee or any number of other things. It's a CAA card, or you can get a $200 travel voucher towards whatever else you're going to do when you travel. And finally, if you've got all of those 2 things and are not yet a member of CARP, then you can get a combination CARP membership and subscription to Zoomer magazine just for asking for a quote. Did I get that right? All right. Okay. Yeah.